Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to today's video. I'm Brian K, and today we're going to be talking about a bending technique that often gets overlooked, right? But it's a bending technique that you want to have in your guitar arsenal of awesomeness, and it's the quarter step bend, okay? So we'll be talking about how we can pull the quarter step bend into our guitar playing and make things more awesome, all right? But before we do get into it, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and comment, right? Those small things go a long way, really help us out, and they help me continue to build this channel. They help the channel continue to grow, okay? You can check the links in my description for other ways to help me as well, okay? And with that said, all right, let's get into today's awesome lesson and about these quarter step bends. So today is a key of A major, okay? Key of A major kind of day, all right? And we're gonna be looking at quarter step bends, right? In the context of electric blues, blues rock, rock and roll, country, those types of styles, good electric guitar styles, right? That utilize these quarter step bends. Okay, now the quarter step bend is really cool because it is like a magnet that pulls the listener in to see where you're going to be going, right, with the lines that you're playing during a blues guitar and rock guitar solos. When you're taking a solo and you're saying something in the key of A, we're going to be looking at like minor pentatonic in the key of A, and you can also think about your major pentatonic scale too. Okay, in the key of A. So, but let's say, how about some minor pentatonic lines that are good stock lines kind of really to have, right? They'll work in your blues and rock. And guys that have used these, I can think of off the top of my head, would be like guys like T-Bone Walker and Albert King, Freddie King, right? Clapton, Stevie Ray used these, right? And they pull you in because they're an unresolved sound, but they take you somewhere, okay? And a couple of hot spots that these get used in often would be like in your minor pentatonic scale. You have the G string and the B string areas of the minor pentatonic scale. Where you have this note here at the 7th fret of the G string that will often be bent. A lot of guys will do a whole step bend on this, right? Right, which is cool. But we're using this as more of a magnet instead of targeting a note with the bend. We're wanting to pull the listener in to take them somewhere, which is going to be resolution, right? Resolving the tension, right? So this is one that gets used a lot. T-Bone used to do these. He had heavy strings, and guys with heavier strings usually had trouble bending pretty heavy anyway, but still, you can hear that. See that bend, right? That's a quarter step bend, and you see how it kind of really is wanting to go somewhere, right? Like right there, to that note, which is going to be the 5th fret of the B string, and it's a chord tone. It's one of the notes in your big old A major chord, or your nice, awesome dominant 7, A7 chord. That note right there, right? 5th fret of your B string, which technically is the 5th of the chord, but that's a good tone to be resolving to because it resolves if you're playing something in the key of A, and especially if you're playing over an A chord, A7, or just good old A major, right? Okay, and the other often used spot for a quarter step bend like this is going to be on the B string, right up here at the 8th fret. Right? Again, not a half or a whole step bend. No, it's a quarter step bend. And again, when you hear what that sounds like, it's like, oh yeah, that's pulling you in, right? That's pulling any listener in, because now they're going to be like, well, where are you going to go with? You're going to go somewhere, right? It's taking you somewhere. It's taking the listener on an adventure, right? To that root note at the top of the chord, or at the 5th fret, right? High E string, just that A note right there. To resolve on that 1, right? But you hear it's like, it's definitely pulls you in when you hear that. It's going somewhere. Ah, it's going right there. Okay? Now another cool spot that you can use this bend, like in your minor pentatonic scale, which is what we're in right now, right? That minor 3rd right here. Okay? That can lead you up to the 3, which is, you know, again, that's going to resolve if you're playing either an A major or an A7 chord, right? That's a cool note to do a quarter step bend to go towards, right? Or you can go back down to the 1. Or maybe do the old 1-on-1, right? Right? So really sting that other 1 when you hit the 1-on-1. Put a little on that note. That's going to sound really good, you know? Okay? All right. So, of course, you could use this in your major pentatonic also, right? And use it in the same way. It's like, you know, you're going to want to pull the listener to some spot that you're going to resolve on, right? Because you don't want to just stay on a quarter step bend and not go anywhere, because that's not going to sound too good. You're going to get some funny looks for that one. And, you know, but if you use it in an interesting way where you're taking the, you know, the listener on an adventure, right? Like that, it resolves. What did I do? I was major pentatonic. Good old first position of our major pentatonic cure, you know, in A. And what I did was I just went from this low root to the 6, right? But I put a little quarter step bend there because I know I can go up to the root note back home to A. And it's going to sound good if I go up there, right? Or vice versa, you could also go back a tone in the scale, right, to the 5 of the chord. Again, the 5. If you go to a root note, a 5 or a 3rd, you know, the core foundation elements of your chords, right, of a major chord, in this case, major 3rd, where they live, right, you're going to get resolution. Right? They also sound good on repeating licks, where you just use them to kind of pull someone in right at the beginning of your repeating lick. Okay. All right, so we'll go into some audio examples. I'll give you some like real-time examples so you can hear the technique just being used in real time and get an even better idea, right, of how to pull this in. But remember, it's just a quarter step bend, so there's no real target tone off of the bend, which is what separates this from your half and your whole step bends that we know and love. And if you use them, just a quick tidbit before we go to the examples, if you use them along with the traditional half and whole step bends, you know, right, you get a little more, actually a lot more expressiveness into the things you're playing, so just mix them in. All right, check it out. Okay, so as we can hear, right, those quarter step bends give us more variety. They give us more ways of expressing ourselves with all the techniques that we already are using, you know, half step bends, whole step bends, repeating licks, you know, the things that we already are doing. Start adding these quarter step bends in, and all of a sudden you exponentially expand your lead guitar soloing vocabulary. Okay, so until next time, have fun with this technique, all right, and we'll see you again out here for the next one. Peace.